attending online chose to be with us. As stated in documents announcing this session, it is related to two European projects. You are seeing them, BePart and Up2Be, in which some of members of this research center are involved. And we decided to bring to this session these two projects together, as it is important for both to deepen knowledge related to youth participation. Related to the Up2Be project, today we have here only colleagues from Portugal. But from the BePart project team, in this session, we have colleagues coming from Spain. We have here Platonic and Visual School represented. From Greece, colleagues from Action, Synergy and Gymnasium, they are there. And from Latvia, and I'm sorry, because I prefer not to say the name of the school, because the pronunciation, I'm not able to do that. And we have colleagues from Portugal too, from MentortecProfessora, they are here, from CIE, I'm here, Angélica Monteiro is there, Amélia Veiga is there, Sousa Fernandes is there, and Amélia Lopes is ill because yesterday she was vaccinated and she's not well today. And we have also other colleagues, but I will talk about them in some minutes. And we have colleagues from Passo Ferreira School, and they are, where are they?
Probably looking
they are outside because they are
the students.
Yes, students. Yes. And we intend with this session that the reflection of this theme, youth participation, is extended beyond the participants of the B project, coordinated by MentortecProfessora, by Rita Sousa, and of the Up2Be project coordinated by Upload and by José Carlos. Research related to youth participation has been one of the focus of several elements of this research center. Therefore, today, it is with great pleasure that we have some of them in this session, as it is the case of Isabel Menezes, that is the director of our research center, Norberto Ribeiro, he is there, and Nicolas Silva. And related with the BePart project, as we know, but we can mention again, the aim of this project is to develop, implement, and evaluate an innovative participatory youth approach in regular schools, fostering inclusive education while promoting citizenship competencies and youth empowerment. So, the participation of my colleague, Professor Isabel Menezes, director, as I mentioned before, of the research center to which some of us are members, is an excellent opportunity to deepen our reflection about youth, civic and political participation in the health schools. This is the title that my colleague, Professor Isabel Menezes, mentioned for this conference. The same happens with the roundtable, where 4 projects are presented. Our colleague, Adelina Silva, will make a synthesis of one of the dimensions worked on in her school under the BePart project. Norberto Ribeiro, that is there, we presented a project called Young Mayor, an educational project aiming to promote active citizenship and shared governance. Nicolas Silva is there too, and he's there with the clock too. We present a project called If We Don't Do It Ourselves, It Won't Evolve. Young people building projects for their communities. It is a very interesting project too. And Luísa Ribeiro will present a project related with project Up to We. We'll present the project Policy and Practice to Start the Channel. So after that, we'll have a break. We expect that it could be at 4 p.m. And we'll have opportunity after this break to get the perspectives of the students that were involved in the BePart project about they have experience. Unfortunately, the students from Spanish, Greece, and Latvia, partners, will be present only through videos. But fortunately, the students from Passo de Ferreira will be here with us face-to-face. This session related with the BePart project ends with the presentation by Rita Sousa. Rita Sousa is the project coordinator, focused on the facts of the project. However, as issues, as I mentioned before, issues related to youth participation are also to interest to the Up to Be project, in which some of us are involved. We invite all of you to stay with us so that Professor Ana Paula Ribeiro, teacher from Camilo Castelo Branco cluster, school cluster, may present some good practice that in the scope of this project, we have been developed. In fact, and repeating what I mentioned at the beginning, we hope that the agenda we have organized will please everyone, and that all of us consider this afternoon very efficient for ways to promote the participation of young people in schools. We have prepared it with great care. And to start this afternoon work, we invited Joana Manarte. Where is Joana Manarte? Is there. To delight us with her lovely voice and good musical choices she always makes. Joana Manarte is a researcher from our research center, and fortunately for us, she's also an excellent singer and an extraordinary woman, because you accept all the invitations from people that way. So we invite all of us to listen Joana Manarte. Joana Manarte.
Thank you very much for the invitation. It's a pleasure to be here. It's the first time I'm going to play this song live, so I'm glad it's here with you. If there are any mistakes, I'm sorry, I'm hoping I can hear them. And this song is from a French musician, Serge Gainsbourg. He wrote it to Juliette Bacon after they spent the night together, where they had the laughs, the drinks, and they had something more probably, because this is kind of a love song. But the song said that now it's over, but they loved each other during the time of the song. J'ai battu quoi, mon amour. À votre avis, qu'avons vu de l'amour, de faux amour à mauvais goût? Ne vous en dansant la japonaise, nous aimions le temps de chanson. Hélas, avril, en vont vu l'amour. J'avais envie de voir en vous cet amour. Ne vous déplaise. En dansant la javanaise, nous aimions les temps de chansons. La vie nous donnait pour qui sans amour. Mais c'est vous qui l'avez voulu, mon amour. Ne vous en dansant la javanaise, nous aimions le temps de nous chanter. Song. This is a very short concert. It's your turn. That side of the room, let's separate this in the middle. That side of the room, we'll do this.
Eu vou escolher
Keep it. This side of the room, we do. Louder. Keep it. Oh Lord, won't you buy me a Mercedes Benz? My friends all not push it. I must make amends. Work hard all my lifetime, no help from my friends. Oh Lord, won't you buy me a Mercedes Benz? Oh Lord. Oh Lord, won't you buy me a color TV? Oh, dying for dollars is trying to find me. I wait for delivery each day until 3. Sing oh, won't you buy me a color TV? Oh, Lord, won't you buy me a light on the town? I'm counting on the road. Yeah, please don't let me down. You prove that you love me and love me as well. Oh Lord, won't you buy me a light on the town?
he decided only two. Let's do one more.
As long as this was 5:30. Oh my God, I'm stepping on Norberto Ribeiro. I'm so happy. It hurt. The song you just heard is from Janis Joplin, Mercedes-Benz. And it's a song, a protest, kind of an ironic prayer against consumerism and alienation. As we sang against it all together with peoples and people there. And now this next song is from Brazil. It is called Chá de Panela. And it is from Ginga, a guitar player, and a poem from Alvir Blanc. And it's a tribute to a great Brazilian musician, Hermeto Pascoal. He has 85 years. He's 85 years old, and he still got this, still has this amazing capability that children have, the ability to play with everything that life gives us, and that's very important, even in adulthood, because that keeps us creative and joyful. Are you scared?
Yes.
Hermeto foi à cozinha pra pegar o instrumental do facão lá tem coisa musical. Trouxe concha, escumadeira, ralador, colher de pau, bravo de vinho, depois, então, mas não penso tudo, fechou um olho, sabe, que eu tiro da série. Minha gravadora, aqui me vejo de tempo, me vejo de tempo, a pessoa que eu olho, eu já deixei. E dá para vai ter que ver. A sua uma chave. Era hoje eu estava com poucos. Eu primeiro, sabe que pedaço, tudo é coisa musical. Tudo é coisa musical. Chocalho de arroz e outro de feijão. Eu tava tomando soprou a falta que já queria. Tocar na função, direto ao coração. Assoprou numa chave, bateu numa bacia. Jesus Ave Maria, era uma sinfonia. Secador de gerador, entrava no compasso. Canção a cair, saleiro no pedaço. Tudo era coisa musical. Mulher botando oi, fica gritando uau. Tudo era coisa musical. Mulher botando oi, fica gritando uau, uau. Esse chá de panela que eu senti a vocação, que música é tudo que avoa e traz no chão. Mulher de pastor e magistral e deu um nome de avião. É tudo a tom, até que me dá bom som. Se essa mulher estamos de fogão, até que me dá bom som. E essa mulher estamos de fogão, até que me dá bom som. Até o som.
So, coming back to the agenda, but this is related with the agenda, but we invited Joanna after to have the PDF of our result. It is due to that we don't have the name in project. So I give the floor to Rita Sousa and to the BePart project.
Thank you. So I'm going to be very, very short. Welcome all of you to our final conference from the BePart project. In name of MentortecProfessora team, so me and Cláudia, we are here. We are project managers. I've been in this project since the beginning, 2019. It is a pleasure to have you here, especially students from Castro. Thank you so much for being with us, because this is for you. The idea to give you the floor to express how was your experience with our project, with this, because this project is for you, it's for the students. So thank you for being here. Before we present Isabel Menezes, we have just a very short overview of the BePart project, so just for you to have an idea of what we have been doing in the last 3 years. And I will ask my colleague Cláudia to present you today just a short overview of the project. So enjoy the afternoon with us. Okay, thank you so much.
So good afternoon, and thank you all for being here today with us. I will try to be very, very quick in presenting BePart. BePart is an Erasmus Plus project with 3 years duration, and its main aim was to develop, implement, and evaluate an innovative participatory youth approach to be implemented in regular schools, fostering inclusive education while promoting citizenship competencies and youth empowerment. Our main target groups were the students from 13 to 15 years old, but also teachers, headmasters, and the school community. We are a partnership from 3 countries, and we are so glad that we have representatives of all the partners here today. We have partners in Portugal, MentortecProfessora, and Escola Castro in Spain, Realize School and Platonic, in Greece, Action Synergy and the school, the Gymnasium Geraca, and in Latvia. And like Professor Carlinda, I will not dare to say the name. Yes, right? Yes, it's good. We have a participatory youth approach that follows the pedagogy of project-based learning, and BePart project aims to promote innovative participatory youth approach, inclusive education, citizenship competencies, and youth empowerment. And our participatory approach relies mainly on a youth-led development that places the students at the center of their change, development, and growth. We try to challenge students between 13 and 15 years to participate in the decision-making of their schools. And we also rely on the acquisition and development of their civic competencies, empowerment, and social inclusion. Students act as agents of innovative and positive change in the management process of their schools and implementation of a set of initiatives on the models of youth participation. So the 5 main concepts of BePart projects were youth empowerment, youth-led development, the co-creation process, the models of youth participation, and the project-based learning. And there were 4 main phases of the project. We firstly researched, prepared the implementation of the project, and then COVID-19 came, and everything needed to be adapted to online. So then we started with the capacitation of teachers. We made that online also. And then we started with implementation. We had 2 phases of implementation, a first year and a second year. The first year was all implemented online. And then the second year, this year, fortunately, we managed to implement it face-to-face. And then we finalized the project with the policy recommendations, with the policy expert. And we are here now at the final conference, trying to show you the results of the project, the experience of the students, and we are so glad to have them here. So enjoy and welcome.
So we invite Professor Isabel Menezes to come to this table.
And we will leave.
Para não levarmos os copos.
Serei exatamente. Não, não
Sim, obrigadíssima.
Quer chegar um bocadinho mais para lá? Sabe porquê? É só para eu não ficar atrás do computador. Só para isso. Boa. Obrigada.
So we moved on with our conference, and now we will have Professor Isabel Menezes, the director of CEE, and Professor Isabel Menezes will present to a very, very interesting presentation on youth civic and political participation in and behind schools. So thank you so much, Professor.
Okay, thank you. Well, one thing, I generally do not do the second part of Joanna's concerts, and there's a reason for that. So I'm sorry, but so you have to blame the organization who has decided that after Joanna, I should be the person to speak. It's obviously, sorry, Joanna, it's obviously a situation where one would rather not be, but well, that's life. So I'll do it. And of course, let me start. Don't do this. Sorry, it's only because I speak very loud. I speak very loud. If this comes to my mouth, it will be a terrible situation. So we really don't want to do this. So thank you so much, Carlinda and Angelica, for the invitation to be here. It's obviously a pleasure to be involved in the final conference, and I know it will be even more interesting to listen to the people who are going to talk, and the students particularly. So I will also be delighted to hear what you have to say. What I'm going to do here is an attempt to discuss youth civic and political participation, making links between what you can call 3 dimensions, of course, if this moves. The first is, of course, a discussion of what do we understand, what are we talking about when we're talking about civic and political participation. This is a continuous and open discussion, but it is a necessary discussion to make an intelligible discourse about what is participation. And I think that when we start, it's important to state and to try to define what participation is about. The second thing is to acknowledge the existence of a discourse about participation that puts young people in the positions of being citizens in the making. The expression is from Marshall, a well-known sociologist that has discussed citizenship as a concept. But it's true that this is present in political discourses, but also in academic discourses. This idea that young people are so important as citizens of the future because one day they will be citizens. It's a little bit like once you are 18, there will come something from above, probably from above, that will come over you and you will become a citizen. This is so silly and so false. And it's important that we start systematically to confront this discourse and to no, please, don't acknowledge this discourse, but confront it, because young children, young people are citizens. Voting doesn't make you a citizen, and it's important that we recognize and that we admit that civic and political participation is much broader than just voting rights. And finally, the need to take into account that all of this implies a balance between in and out of school participation, and this connection, and I will try to connect the dots, hopefully, between the three things: participation, young people, and schools, by recognizing how the three are interconnected and, linked very, very shortly. Let me say two things. One is that, as you have seen, I'm using now and again photographs from demonstrations, from contemporary demonstrations. This one is 2013. The other one was from the pandemics. It was the first big demonstration in Porto after the pandemics. It was connected to the Black Lives Matter movement, but this is from Istanbul in 2013. And I want to thank the photographers who have done this photographs and who have shared them and allowed them to use, and allow people like me to use in presentations. So this is the first thing. It's very important because this also allows us to confront this vision that young people are detached, they do not care about politics, they do not have a political existence of their own. And what I'm demonstrating to you through these pictures is that this is completely false, and that we must remember every day that young people are out there taking and assuming their role as citizens, much more than many of the adults in our society. So this is the first thank you note that I have to make to the young people demonstrating, of course, and to the photographers that are, registering these moments. And the second thing is thank you to the CatchIU project. The CatchIU project was a H2020 project that we were involved in 4 years ago, I don't know anymore, 4 years ago. And some of the data that I'm going to present here, because obviously I will present data, I'm sorry, it's my second nature, it's inevitable. But some of the data I'm going to present here from schools all over Europe come from this project. So I want to thank my colleagues who have shared this information also with us. Okay. So the crisis of participation. I like to start this discussion quoting Verba. Many of you have seen me quote Sidney Verba and saw me quote this particular phrase, which he wrote in 1967. And I like this quote because if I would have said that this was written in 2017, you would go for it, with the exception that maybe Verba was not among us on 2017. I don't know anymore. But well, it's such an obvious quote. It's such up to date that one would say that, oh, this makes complete sense nowadays. And it makes complete sense nowadays, as it made complete sense back in the 60s. And it's interesting that Joanna, we didn't organize this, used Janis Joplin and her song about the critique of consumerism. And of course, what Verba was saying was about people like Janis Joplin and the other young people who were taking the floor about civic and political issues that were new, and they were doing it in new ways. And in a way, new people were coming, people that were not supposed to be involved in civic and political issues. So the thing is that what he has witnessed, and we continue to witness, is a crisis not in the sense of a recession of participation, but in the sense of an expansion of forms of participation, not only in terms of the people involved, but also in terms of the topics involved, and even in terms of the strategies they use. Our two colleagues, Erik Amna and Joachim Ekman from Sweden, have tried to develop a comprehensive mode of civic and political participation. What they try to do is to recognize that civic and political participation is a very broad thing that even involves people who really think they do not want to have anything to do with politics. So people who really resent politics and politicians a lot, but still are very much engaged in very different ways in the political life of their communities. They don't want to be called politicians. They even resent. This has happened to me before, people coming to me at the end of my talk and say, I'm very mad. Why? Oh, because according to your definition, I'm very much a political activist and I hate politics. And I say, okay, but why do you think you're a political activist? Oh, yes, it's true. I volunteer. I'm a member of Amnesty International. I go to demonstrations. I sign political petitions. And I said, well, that's your thing. You're the one doing this. You cannot keep doing this and say that you don't like politics. What you probably dislike is politics connected to political parties, connected to institutional politics. But this doesn't mean that you don't like politics, because the political is, by the way, everywhere. And we are all involved in it, whether we like it or not, whether we acknowledge this or not. But the thing is, in fact, when academics, politicians, and even people in education speak about political participation, they tend to look at this very limited, you don't see anything, the formal political participation that has to do with institutional politics, voting, signing petitions, or getting involved in political parties, in trade unions. This is political participation, which is a very narrow definition. So first things first, when we talk and when I talk about civic and political participation, I'm talking about a very broad sense of participation that might involve my decision to buy certain vegetables instead of others. This project is called the Ugly Fruit Project. The Ugly Fruit Project just picks vegetables and fruits from producers who do not produce fruit and vegetables that are nice enough to be sold in supermarkets, and they sell it directly to consumers. So they work like a cooperative. How do we say this? I don't know. There's a name in English and it's not this one, but it will do. So it's an association of people, and you go and buy fruit every week. So this is a decision about where to buy the vegetables and fruits that are in my house. And this decision is a political decision, trust me, because you decide that it's better to consume directly from the producers, from the local producers, than to go to a supermarket where you have someone in between who is, by the way, profiting a lot from this process. This is not a political decision, of course. This has everything to do with a political decision. Here, this is a demonstration. Demonstrations are very typical forms of political participation since the 18th century. My friends who are historians keep reminding me of this. But this particular form of demonstration, they are in Oslo, I think. and the photographer picked this up. They are dying in to remind people of what is happening in the Mediterranean. And just yesterday, we were having a discussion about yet 2 or 3 boats who are being prevented from landing in Italy. So I thought this was a nice reminder that this is something that Europe is dealing with for years. And here, what the demonstrators are trying to call our attention is about people dying in the Mediterranean in trying to cross over to Europe. This is an unusual form of demonstrating. It can be, but it's still civic and political participation. And yet, in spite of all of this, and in spite of having signs of this expansion of civic and political participation, of this expansion of topics, and this expansion of people, there's an intense rhetoric about the need to prepare young people for their future role as citizens. One day, far, far away, when you are 5, the time where you'll be 18 is far, far, far away. And even when you are 15, the time where you'll be 18 is quite far, far away. It's to prepare them for their future role as citizens. And at the same time, and this happens very clearly since the 1980s, there's a lot of educational reforms all across Europe and beyond, where citizenship education with this name or others has been made at the center of what school experience should be. So it comes as a priority in educational reform. At the same time, you have a growth in research about youth civic and political participation. I remember, well, a decade ago, we were one of the few groups working on this. Nowadays, it's nice. Everybody's interested in discussing and doing research about the topic. But at the same time, existing research tells you that there's a huge gap between policy and practice when it comes to schools. And there's clearly a lack of a systematic approach in schools in relation to civic and political education. And I'm not talking exclusively of the situation in Portugal. I'm talking about the situation in Europe and particularly in the European Union, where most of our data and most of our projects are from. And look, this is an example from a Swedish teacher, but it's in a way an example that it's representative of the discourses of teachers across Europe. What this teacher is saying is that, well, from one part, it comes from the individual teacher. The individual teacher might feel responsible to approach citizenship or political issues, but mainly there are teachers in some subjects that are supposed to deal with this. And for instance, the teacher of mathematics has never anything to do with civic or political things. No, as we know, politics stands at the door of mathematics classrooms, and this is true all over the world. Once there is a class that says mathematics, politics turns its back and leaves, because politics and the political is afraid of maths teacher. That should be something like this, yeah? So it's a silly discussion, but it's in fact, teachers feel that in this case, there's a social studies classes. Oh, then the social studies teacher should deal with this. Even if something tragic happens, as in the example, it doesn't matter. It's something that should be contained. So it's not recognized as being part of this broader role of teaching. But let me tell you one thing. It's not recognized as being part for many teachers, but it is also true that being a teacher or becoming a teacher is not only the result of individual conceptions. Teachers must be supported in their relevance in their role, and in the relevance they attribute to these things. So if a teacher feels is not being supported by the dean of the school, by his or her colleagues in relation to this role, obviously, as any of us in this room, he backs up. So in a way, it is he or she quits in the relevance that he or she gives to this area. It's not teaching is not an individual thing that you do with your students. It depends the whole on the context, on the school, and on the relevance, and not only on the political discourse that the minister has on, well, his ministry. So, important thing. The second thing is that students themselves, these are Italian students, say, oh, yeah, in theory, we have power, in theory. In practical terms, when we participate in the assemblies or councils in schools, well, we decide to shut up because we don't want to have a discussion with a teacher. We are afraid that in a way they are going to think bad things about us if we say what we feel. And the school is just as 50 years ago, where people came to school, heard the lesson, and left. I have no power to do anything. Is this the majority? I'm not saying this is the majority, but I'm saying that this is out there, and for many students, this is probably close to what they feel, this impression that these Italian students are saying. Another group in Sweden, and I've mentioned this before, they were talking about school democracy, a strategy that exists in Swedish schools exactly to promote and to involve students in decision-making in school. And the interviewer asked them, but you do have school democracy strategy here. And they all left. The kids left. And she, why are you laughing? She said, why? She was shocked because once she was a student a couple of years ago, this was a very positive experience for her. Yeah. So she turned to the kids and said, why are you laughing? What is the problem? And the kids said, yes, we come together. We discuss a lot about the changes that we should do in school. But then nothing happens. They don't even change the menu of the cafeteria. So nothing relevant changes. If nothing relevant changes, of course, what's the point of participating? Come on, we would all feel betrayed in a process like this. And we learn that in principle, it's good to participate, but in practical terms, we have no power. And another thing that came in these discussions that we had across schools was that the students felt that the school should definitely have a role. And I think, honestly, for me, this is one of the most interesting things, is that they trust the schools to be the context where they have political discussions. They do not trust other organizations in their community. They feel that other organizations are there, but they are already too committed. And this is why, for instance, they feel politicians should come to school. Politicians should come and present their views. They should have the opportunity to learn about political parties, to be informed about ideological differences between the parties. And this should be something that should be done in school, because the school is a context they trust. And honestly, this is the best news that I can give teachers all over Europe in terms of the research. They trust schools. But if schools continue to ignore this in terms of their capacity to play a relevant political role, I think that we are losing the opportunity. Fortunately for us, kids will continue to trust school, but I think that we are losing an important opportunity to create safe spaces to discuss, to interact, to have here a view on what is happening. And of course, the issue of participation always appears as a positive thing. I like this quote by Sharon Arnstein. It's back in 1969, so I'm old into the 60s today also. The idea of citizen participation is a little like eating spinach. No one is against it in principle because it is good for you. Yeah. So this idea that participation is always good is something that should be fostered, should be supported, like Popeye. Like Popeye, it makes you strong, participation, so it's good. Of course, Arnstein was a very intelligent woman, and she continues. She said, yes, great, participation is good, but the applause can sometimes be reduced to polite hand claps. When this principle is advocated by the have-nots, meaning the groups who have no power, when the have-nots define participation as redistribution of power, when they claim for power, when they decide to say, just stop oil and demonstrate, then they become vandals. And then maybe participation is not that good. And we will frame their political participation as illegal or inadequate or out of order or whatever. The issue of vandalism in relation to these activists is being used by media all across Europe. So suddenly we have vandals. We do not have young people participating as we like because they are not doing it on our terms. They're doing it on their terms in relation to their causes, in their ways, as citizens that they are, not as our babies that do as we want them to do. They demonstrate, and this is something very interesting. Maybe some of you in Portugal at some years ago, more than 6 months ago, we had a huge demonstration, and we had at the time a female minister of education, and one of the demonstrators decided to show his ass on the demonstration in Lisbon. In front of the parliament, he put his trousers and he showed his back side, the back side, to the parliament. And this was a huge thing. Everybody was saying, oh, this is a lost generation. Oh, this is terrible. The same thing here. You resonate, you see the continuity in the discourses. Oh, terrible thing. They are destroying works of art. Of course, the fact that they chose works of art that were protected maybe could ring a bell, but no. So they are behaving a terrible thing. The schools must do more in order to make them behave as citizens. Citizenship is by definition not a well-behaved way of interaction. It must accommodate not well-behaved ways of interaction. These two girls have done more to call attention to their cause than demonstrations that were done before. So they are being strategic, of course, as everyone who wants to make a say in political terms. And my point is, politics or the political is like cats. You really cannot deal with citizenship and politics leaving the political outside. What I'm talking about is leaving power outside, leaving inequalities outside. And let me just give you an example. Clementina, one of the colleagues who unfortunately has the flu and cannot make it in the session after this one, was collecting data about how children, small children, interacted with nature during the pandemics. And she was asking the children to tell them about their experiences with nature during the pandemics. And some of the kids said, oh, it was really nice. We went out of the city to my family's house in the rural area, which is, I don't know, some kilometers from here. It's our house for the holidays. And we went there, and it's nice because we have a big garden. We cannot ride a bike, but it's possible to climb trees. And it was really, it's good. Well, it was the pandemic. It was not that good, but still it was good because I was able to be in a context where I have trees and a big garden, etc., etc. Some of the kids said, oh, I went to my grandparents' house and they have a very small garden, but I was able to play the ball in this small garden. And other kids said, oh, we started in our balcony. We started growing some vegetables, you know, cherry tomatoes and things like that. And we decided, because we didn't have access to nature, we could bring nature a little bit into our house, and we started doing this in our balcony. The difference between a balcony, a garden, and a holiday house with a farm is politics. You see the cat? You see the cat moving from the holiday house to the garden to the balcony. It's a political discussion. It's impossible to have such a discussion without recognizing inequalities between people. So it's no way possible to have a discussion about whatever topic, and I'm trying to finish, yes, without having a political discussion. So there are inevitable tensions. The tensions between policy and practice, obviously, anyone would tell you that in spite of political recommendations in relation to this, the gap between policy and practice is huge. Between information and action, in the sense that there are some references to elections or to things that should be taught. But again, there's a gap between these things that should be taught and the experience of children in their schools. There's a gap between the discourse and the lived citizenship experienced in school. The experience of being a Democrat in school. And there's, of course, a tension inevitable between in and out of school experiences. So what we try to do is to understand a little bit more what and how we could organize these experiences in a way that could account for positive changes in terms of students' personal development. So our thing is, how can we organize projects, experiences, wherever, in a way that would contribute to the development of students' political reasoning, political attitudes, political dispositions to be actively involved. And for quite a while, we have identified these 4 dimensions, the idea of action. These are, in fact, very classical dimensions. If you go to Dewey, some of these were already there. If you go to Paulo Freire, of course, the balance between action and reflection is also there. But we have here also contributions from political philosophers like Hannah Arendt or Walzer or Norberto Bobbio that emphasize the importance of not only opportunities to get engaged, hands-on approaches, but also the balance between this and opportunities to reflect in a context where conflict is inevitable, but it's accepted and it's used as a basis for discussion. And of course, where change and pluralism are supported and really, valued as inevitable parts of the discussion. And what I will try to show you very briefly here to conclude is we decided to look at the data from this 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 countries with students from between 15 and 18 years old, more than 2,000 students, mostly girls. And we looked at this, trying to look at the way they perceive the democratic climate of their school and their classroom, their participation in extracurricular activities, including political activities, such as being involved in the Students' Union, for instance, and opportunities for critical reflection. And of course, here the thing is, if we were right, if our perspective that the balance between action and reflection is an important part of this process, students where this balance is more positive, then would result in more positive dimensions or more positive political attitudes or political reasoning dimensions. Yeah. So we identified 4 groups of students in this total of 2,000 students. Groups 1 and 2 are the groups who are dissatisfied with the democratic climate of their school and their classroom. They do not feel their school and their classroom function in a democratic way. Groups 3 and 4 are satisfied. Groups 1 and 2 are different in terms of participation. Group 1, it's low participants, so kids who are not very involved in extracurricular activities in their school. And on the contrary, on cluster 2, group 2, they are relatively engaged in their school as participating in extracurricular activities. Cluster 3 and 4 are the satisfied ones. So the ones who are really satisfied with their democratic climate of their school and their classroom. So they feel their schools and their classrooms are democratic schools and democratic classrooms. They are both reflective, but the thing here is that group 3 is not that involved, does not participate, and group 4 has higher levels of participation. Yeah. And so what we try to do is, if we look at the school experience, does it influence their political attitudes? Does this have a say to what happens to more general political attitudes in relation to society as a whole? And what I'm going to show you is the tendency, it's more or less the same for the 3 or 4 variables I'm going to say. What this tells you is what is being done at school. The way it's being done at school has consequences on the political self-efficacy, which means the capacity to believe that one is able to have a say or have a complex understanding of political issues. But also that if people come together, they will be able to do something in terms of changing their community. So it's not only individual recognition of efficacy, it's also on collective engagement and the way that collective engagement will make a difference. They are also more prone to political trust, a little bit less when they are more reflective. And this, of course, is to be expected. Sometimes experience makes you become more critical of the way things are. And for us, this is a very positive result. They are more positive in terms of their support for democracy. They experience the positive vision of a democratic classroom and school climate makes them more positive towards democracy. And particularly in our context in Europe nowadays, less supportive or less linked to political alienation. And this is a very important result, as we know that political alienation is really an important variable in explaining seduction in relation to extreme right-wing movements that are very, well, I'm not saying that they are very popular, but they are surely occupying a lot of the public space nowadays, and they are arguing for active exclusion of certain groups in our society. And as such, a school in a democratic state should be concerned with political alienation. So, and now finally to finish, schools are in fact resources, important resources in our democracies. And it's the fact, the sole institution that we, the people, come together, and particularly public schools should recognize that this is an essential part and give school an essential responsibility, but also give school the possibility to work in a very positive way with the large community of citizens. The important thing is that in school we come together with people who are different from us. It's not that we come together with people who are similar to us. The social media gives us a lot of interaction with people who are similar to us. What we need is context where we come together to people who are different, and we learn to negotiate these differences, to discuss, to debate, to, well, think it over, and to understand that we can make allies, but we also can make opponents. And these are important things in a democracy. We learn in school to speak out. We learn to defend those who are weaker. We learn to confront our teacher. We learn that there are ways that are incorrect to confront our teachers. And this is a very important way, political learning, to learn correct ways of political confrontation, of expressing disagreement. This is central. We learn to think critically about things in a safe space again. And of course, all this reminding us that schools are communities within communities, that there are links and should be links between what happens in and out of school, and that we should emphasize these links and make strong connections with the communities. Thank you, and thank the group of people who have done this with me.
Yes. Yes. Yes, we will have now the round table.
Olá, pessoal. Tem a apresentação já no computador, não?
Sim, se está na pen drive, a Cláudia colocou. Obrigada, professora. Já está metida. É outra pen. A sua colega para tirar.
Este é BePart Gameplay.
Agora vamos ao outro pen drive. E agora a Adelina já está na minha. Eu só vou tirar. Será que eu posso tirar as duas? Elas podem tentar, é melhor, porque senão elas não podem precisar. Mas a professora Adelina, se calhar, só vamos virar para aqui. Não tem problema, posso escolher chegar aqui. Acho que depois. Aqui,
Sim, está com o vermelho que está ligado.
Eu acho que.
Eu vou, então. Hello. We are going to start the round table. Can I have your attention, please? We are having some delay. Okay, so back to the debate. First of all, let me introduce myself. I'm José. It's an honor to be here. I'm very pleased to be part of the BePart project. Thank you to this faculty for that. As you can imagine, it's the standard is very high right now. We are after Joanne and Professor Isabel Menezes. We have a hard task, but guess what? We have an excellent group of speakers. So I'm going to just, they have been introduced in the beginning by Professor Carlinda, Leite, but just to remind you who they are, and then we will have 5 to 7 minutes for each person. And so we try to have some debate before the coffee break. So we have Professor Adelina Silva. She's a teacher from secondary school Castro. We have Luísa Ribeiro, who is a project manager at INOVA, company quite engaged with Erasmus+. We have Nicolas Silva, a researcher at CES, so in this faculty in the University of Porto. And we have Norberto Ribeiro, researcher as well at CES and in this faculty in the University of Porto. So the floor is yours, Professor Adelina Silva, please. Thank you.
Thank you so much. So I'm here representing my school as a member of this project. I'm representing all the teachers and all the teachers involved, all the students involved. So let's begin. Let's begin by presenting you the teachers that were involved in this project in my school. So we were 5 teachers. Let me start by saying that I'm presenting you the teacher's point of view, because at the last part of this conference, our students will present their point of view. So these are the teachers involved in the 2 years of implementation. Myself, I'm a technological education teacher. Carla and Sandra and Manuela, which are geography teachers, and also Manuela, that is a French and a librarian teacher. These are the warriors. So let's make a brief review of the overview of the project that started in 2019-20. These are the schools and partners, technical partners involved. Let me thank you all for your work. It was a pleasure to work with you and to share our experiences throughout these 3 years. So, Cláudia already presented the goals of our project. I have to be brief because I only have 5 minutes. So, let's jump to the second year of implementation of this project, work with our students. Let me remind you that we were on lockout. COVID-19 was there. So these were the teachers that were responsible for guiding our students in this year. We have implemented the project-based learning as a methodology. We had 14 students and 3 teachers involved in the project, and our goal was to develop, to implement, and to evaluate the participatory and innovative approach in order to promote inclusive education, develop citizenship skills, and empower young people. As we were in lockdown, we had to work from our schools, from our house. So we had many video conferences with our students, and they have decided to work on 2 major problems that they have identified. They have made a form, and they have distributed to other students from 7th to 9th grade in our school. And they have identified these 2 problems, cyberbullying and internet safety. Then they had to choose the model in which they were to work. They have applied a tool, a digital tool called All Our Ideas, in order to select the model or the 2 models to work with these problems. And the models were 6 principles of online participation and 5 stages model of online participation. After identifying the problem and the model, they have designed a number of activities in order to overcome these problems. I will go on. So, this, in the left hand, you have the digital tool they have made, all our ideas tool, and as you can see, the 2 most voted models were 6 principles of online participation and 5 stages model of online participation. And on the right side, you can see the results of the online form they have distributed to their fellow students. So we had a lot of meetings, but we also had a problem. The problem was to have a common, help me, students, a common in our schedules to have our meetings, as we teachers had a schedule and the students had schedules, and they were from different classes. So we had sometimes to meet during weekends, Saturdays and Sundays, or on holidays. So, but it was okay, but because students were engaged and we were engaged as their guides, just to guide them. When they needed help, we were there for them. They also organized the international meeting that we had online. So what have they done? They they set a contest with cartoons about internet security and cyberbullying. So these were made in a book, an ebook that you can all access if you want to. I can read this presentation, and you can consult all their creations. They also have made a blog and videos, and they also have made an escape room as a game about cyberbullying and internet security. At the beginning of the project, we thought it was good to have a learning diary where they can register and write all that they have accomplished. So we have decided for this tool, a Padlet, where since the beginning, we have there all our diaries, a learning diary that you can also assess. And of course, in our school, we have a Google platform, and in the classroom, Google Classroom, we have a discipline where we put all the meetings and all the books that we have discovered to share with all the students. Second year of implementation. Meet the teachers involved in second year. The two Manuelas teachers. So now we have learned from the mistakes from the first year. Now we have decided to work in the two groups with two different problems, with two different models well defined. So these were the models they have decided. The 9th grade students shows the clear participation model, and the 8th grade students shows the Council of Europe RNSOS framework. So how did they choose this model? They had regular meetings. They had also debates about school participation, and they elaborate concept maps, and also they filled documents, and they had a very close look at the 3 decisions of the models of youth participation handbook, and then they vote the model of their choice. The 9th graders, I will call you group 1, they chose to this project, the future need. And why? Because they have to choose after the 9th grade a path in order to see what kind of job they will have. So they wanted to create a project to support vocational guidance and with the collaboration of our headmaster, present over there, and also the Students and Family Support Office, the teachers of the teacher they have, and also the town hall. Yeah. So they set it what they called Apprentice for a Day project. What does this resume? They went to some of the professionals of some jobs and spent a day with them in order to see what they really do in their job. For instance, in the firefighter quarters, or in the hospital, or in a clinic psychologist, or in a lawyer, for instance. The 8th graders, they chose this project from passive to active, and they wanted to implement active methodologies in the classroom. Of course, they they had the conscience that the role of the student is not the same. So they had a various kind of activities they had to do in order to implement those active methodologies, but then the students go down. These are some of the activities they have done. And then they have participated in an eTwin project. They have participated in a project called Miúdos a Votos. And they have also participated this year in the project called Transform Education, Give Your Ideas a Voice, and Reimagine School. And our school is there, as you can see. Right? So they also have idealized another project called Skype Mystery, which is going to be implemented this year. Okay, so we had a number of workshops where students presented what they have done during these years. In conclusion, okay, so we have some positive aspects of this project. First of all, is the high level of interest and motivation of the students involved in this project. Students had a lot of commitment and dedication to the project. The quality of the activities and the final products developed. Also the collaborative work, the high level of responsibility, decision-making ability, and shared leadership. We see as teachers that when motivated and empowered, should respond and surprise by their involvement and engagement, and also in the quality of their work. It is critical, in our opinion, to create opportunities for students to develop participatory competencies. And also the development of the transdisciplinary project supported by problem-based project or challenge-based project, or even outdoor learning methodology. Of course, we have some constraints. The only lack of time. Also, the project's level of demand needs to be adapted to the age group of students. To conclude, I believe we have all checked the goals announced by Cláudia. So,
thank you very much. This is a hard role to pressure people to conclude, but it has been a very interesting communication. Thank you very much. Please save your questions for a later moment. I hope we will have some time to have some questions to participants. And now we are going to hear the communication from Norberto Ribeiro called Young Mayor, an educational project aiming to promote active citizenship and shared governance. Precisa de ajuda?
No. Okay. Good afternoon. My name is Norberto Ribeiro. As you know, I will do a brief presentation of a Young Mayor project, a local project that the municipality of South America will do a couple of years. So this is a brief presentation. I have some notes to help me not to lose my discourse. So I have 5-10 minutes. So if you don't mind, I will present the slides and I will read some notes that will wrote some hours ago. So let's start. So this is the Young Mayor has been implemented since 2015 at the municipality of Santa Maria da Feira, north of Portugal, 13 kilometers from Porto, and is a project aimed at young people aged between 11 and 17 years old. For those who don't know, the most famous monument of the city is the Castle of Santa Maria da Feira, which began to be built in the 19th century. Every year, a well-known medieval fair is organized in the city around the castle. All of you are very welcome if you want to know and participate in this event. This project was inspired by the Young Mayor of Lewisham initiative launched in 2004 in London Borough of Lewisham in southeast of London. This is the last young mayor elected in Lewisham. The proposal of Young Mayor Project as an education initiative is to promote behaviors of active citizenship and shared governance, valuing the opinions of young people and their perspectives for the future. Through this project, it is intended that young people play the role of spokespersons of their peers and be co-responsible for the management of 10,000 euros budget allocated to them. The development of the project takes place in a context of non-formal education. The main objectives of Young Mayor Project are to promote communication, social, interpersonal, and leadership skills that empower young people with regard to an effective community intervention, to promote team management skills, negotiation, consensus in the scope of the decision-making process, to bring young people closer to the local political structures, to promote the acquisition, consolidation, and realization of human values such as social justice, gender equality, and equal opportunities, to promote structured dialogue and shared governance among young people and local governments, to raise awareness of legislation and implementation policies process, and to promote active participation behaviors through the right to vote. There are many objectives, I know. Who participates? Who can vote? This project seeks to involve all young people between 11 and 17 age, residents and all students in Santa Maria da Feira, who can apply. Young people aged between 13 and 17 years, number of applications maximum 21, term of office 1 year. Main phases. The main phases of the Young Mayor implementation are project dissemination. At the beginning of the school year, the Young Office holds clarification sessions with the class delegates and students interested in each of the participating schools. Electoral campaign. Once the candidates are selected, maximum 21, the electoral campaign preparation period begins. In this phase, the candidates benefit from a training session carried out by the youth office. Electoral campaign involves videos outdoors, campaigns in schools and on social media. We have after we have the election day, the electoral act takes place in each of the participating schools, and the bi-monthly meetings take place after school in the facilities of the council, specifically in the youth office. The elected work team defines which proposals are presented during the campaign to be implemented, as well as the strategy to managing the 10,000 euro budget allocated. This is the current young mayor, Barbara Freitas, 14 years old, and she was elected in the last edition of the young mayor. And was elected for the term 21-22. Now I will present some results from an impact evaluation that I did some years ago in this project. So first of all, I want to say that this impact evaluation occurred between September of 2016 and 2018, with the data that we collected were 961 questionnaires of young students, 2 interviews with the first 3 young males elected, 2 focus discussion groups with 15 youths who took part in the young male project, and 9 questionnaires to school principals. The evaluation also considered 4 dimensions of analysis: perception about project, experience of participation, electronic vote, and voting at 16. Some findings about this evaluation impact of the project, specifically regarding the dimension about perception about the project. Considering specifically this dimension, our evaluation conclude that participants more involved in young male projects assign higher scores when assessing the impact of the project. This finding highlights the need to promote closer and continuous contact between young people and educational and social communities surrounding Santa Maria da Feira, seeking not to limit the action of the project to specific situations of the operationalization. And also participants who have participation experience with higher developmental quality, that is experience that promote real opportunities for action and reflection within pluralistic and open contexts, have more positive perceptions about the young male project and report more civic and political participation experience in their communities. Regarding the other dimension that we studied, regarding the dimension of voting, the possibility of voting to 16 in national and European elections, results show an ambivalent perception regarding young people's political maturity to vote at 16. In the questionnaire, there is a prevalence of responses in favor of lowering the voting age to 16. On the other hand, all the other data, the qualitative data specifically, show a contagion and even an opposite understanding, especially those resulting from the interviews with elected young males. These findings are somewhat unexpected for us, since we anticipated that more in-depth discussion with adolescents who are already active in participation projects will reveal a more enthusiastic perspective on the possibility of earlier involvement by young people in the formal decision-making process. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much, Norberto Ribeiro. We are now proceeding with the communication from Nicolas Silva, and it's called "If We Don't Do It Ourselves, We Want to Evolve: Young People Building Projects for Their Communities." And what is that?
Okay, so good afternoon. My name is Nicolas Silva. Sometimes it's Nicola or Nicola.
I said it right.
Yes. So before starting, I would like to thank on behalf of the research team the invitation for being here, and tell that it's a pleasure to be here and to get to know some projects involving young people and to present the work, the participatory work that we have developed with young people from both regions of mainland Portugal. We worked with young people from secondary education in sessions for building projects for their communities. Since we have only 5 minutes, I will try to resume everything. So this is a project, this participatory work fits in the grower project, and my PhD project fits in this grower project, and it's the only thing I will say about this, okay? This is the research team from the grower project. This is the timeline of the grower project, okay? So we started this participatory work in 2021. It's worth mentioning here that this work, the projects that result from this work are present in a document that it's called Youth Agendas that we are finishing right now. It's also important to mention that these sessions, initially, it was our idea to integrate them in the University here at the faculty, but due to pandemic, we had to have these sessions online. This is the theoretical framework, okay? Now we can start talking about the participants. We have here some students from Castro, which is, I think it's excellent. So we have some students with whom we worked in our final seminar. We worked with 10 students from Adelina, 5. Maybe I will say like I'm sorry about this because I don't need this. Okay, do you hear me? Okay, so we worked with 10 students from Terras-Bourg, 5 students from Almeida, 18 from Elvas, 12 from Moura, and 11 from Miranda do Douro. So this is the process of working of the project development. In the first session, we started by identification some problems and priorities for young people. In the second session, the young students started developing their projects, aiming to respond to priorities they had identified in the session, in the first session, and also discussing around indicators around quality criteria, because in our understanding, it is important to create sustainable. Sorry, on the listen line. So, okay, I'm so sorry. In the second and in the third session, they started working around their projects. In the fourth session, it was a moment where young people were able to present their projects to other colleagues. I forgot to say that the first 3 sessions were held individually per context, and then the 4th and the 5th session were held with all the contexts together. So I will skip this part. You have here some photos of some of us, Marco Sampaio, me, Marco Sampaio and me, Marco Sampaio, Marco Silva, etc. So that's some pics that we have taken about the sessions. This is the 5th session when we now have young people were able to present their projects to a wider community, being, for example, other municipalities, external stakeholders, the scientific community, etc. And now the most important, the projects. We have 9 projects from 5 municipalities, so I will present them in a very, very short way. I will try, at least. So the first project being Growing Tourism is a project from Almeida. Having identified as a social problem the lack of youth involvement in activities to promote local tourism, their main goal was to stimulate local heritage and enrich the municipality on a social and economic way, and captivate young people, mainly, for example, with job creation in touristic activities, such as those that you can read, because I have to move on to the project 2. The project 2 is the first project from Elvas. This is a project that is called Directed Activities for All. having identified as a social problem the generational distance and lack of knowledge of local traditions, these young people have as a main goal to simulate local heritage here in parallel with the first project, and to promote an intergenerational dialogue between young people and elderly people. In this project, it is worth mentioning that in the activities they want to develop such as cooking training courses around cooking and sewing. And one of the ideas of these young people is the result of the sales of the products that they will develop in these courses will be donated to social institutions. And this is the concern about those in need. The third project, the second one from Elvis, is requalification of labor areas, and it aims to promote the reuse of some gardens from Elvis and to develop the sport activities and cultural activities. I have Rita looking at me and saying maybe move on. This project is a very cute one. Is very different because it has a mobility appeal, since it aims to facilitate the mobility for touristic activities, but also for other things that we do in our municipalities, of course. And it has as well an economic growth concern about the job creation. I had so much to say about this project, but okay. The fifth project is a very similar one to the first one that I presented, the growing tourism. And it's also a project that aims to stimulate the local tourism activities. And this is very important here because Miranda and Almeida are and other municipalities from other regions, but these two particularly, they are very characterized by a proximity to nature. So there is here a nature appeal in these projects. Now we are at the sixth project, the first from Moda. So this project is sponsorship of the elderly, having identified as a social problem the isolation of the elderly people. Their main goal is to reduce this isolation, creating a platform where young people will sponsor older people. And I have so much to say as well about this project. The seventh project has as well a preoccupation about the elderly population, wanting to promote, to reduce the loneliness and to promote the conviviality between elderly people and other population, and as well the creation of spaces for the physical exercise, not spaces, the sports spaces, but in doing things that we do in gardens. I'm not that great at doing that. They think that elderly people can exercise and leave home. Okay, I totally forgot to say that for each project we try to meet the sustainable development goal and the European Youth Goal, okay, that we have at the bottom. I have to, okay. So the eighth, it's a project about cultural activities in Moda as well. We cannot forget that these regions are characterized for some constraints in work concerns, social offers. These young people, analyzing this situation, want to create cultural activities. Okay. The ninth project is from Petersburg and wants to promote a greater contact between young people and elderly people, but also elderly people with nature. But these young people are talking specifically about elderly people in nursing homes, okay, that they don't have the opportunity to leave these homes and to visit the nature. And this is a municipality context that has a very proximity to nature. We're talking about Petersburg, which is in Joliet. Oh, and finally, okay, so some remarks. These sessions puts these young people as at the center as agents of knowledge, but also as agents of change. This project building exercise allowed us as well to understand that the priorities of these young people do not focus exclusively on unique activities and initiatives, which a priori will be more directed towards themselves, but we feel a concern for other populations and situations without the level of the community, its characteristics and development. And I'm finishing, I swear. Young people that go from different municipalities share concerns, mainly about the economic situation of their context and also about the elderly population and its isolation. And finally, by presenting these problems, young people are essentially seeking local development. In this sense, there is an action of thing that is civically engaged to the extent that these young people are thinking about their context, are trying to provide answers to some issues they can consider pressing. Intended common well-being for the community and its development above all. And thank you very much.
Thank you. We are going now listening to Adelina Ribeiro, and her communication is called Policy and Practice to Start to Change. The project Start to Change the Voice of Students.
Okay. Apresentar. Vai precisar disso, não? É um botão. Uma confiaria está na que eu vi. Assim,
Hello, everyone. Hello, everyone. I'm representing here the INOVA Plus. This is the company and work, and our department is the capacity building. And I work also with Cláudia and Rita sometimes with some partners with some projects. And I will present the Start to Change project. The program of the Start the Change project is the Erasmus Plus. What is the Start to Change project? The goal of the project is giving students voice, that is promoting student participation in school life as a tool to develop key competence, promote active citizenship and inclusion, helping to prevent radicalization and extremism. So the key ideas of from the Start to Change project is knowing the student perspectives and giving more voice to them. Also provide teachers with support on topics related to diversity, participation, and also volunteering. And the last two key ideas is support students and building their autonomy, identity, and social skills too, and stimulate the active participation. Here in Portugal, our schools are the School of Albergaria Velha, the School of Loureiro in Oliveira das Mães, also EPROMAR in Matosinhos, the School of José Estevão in Aveiro, and also School of São Bernardo in Aveiro too. The partners of the project are the Forum for Freedom in Education from Croatia, and they are the coordinator of the project. Also, José Estevão School, they are part of the official school of the project. Also, the Macedonian Civic Education Center from North of Macedonia,
networks of education policy centers in Croatia, Syrians in Belgium, and also the other schools from Croatia and the north of Macedonia. The results and activities. With this presentation, I will focus on the policy topic, because we have, during the 3 years of the project, because the project will finish in January, but I will focus on the policy. But we have so many results and activities. About the policy, we developed some international conference for debate and sharing of the good practice. We already organized the Policy Lab 1 and the Policy Lab 2, and in November, final of November, yes, we will do the final conference when we will go with the students from the north of Macedonia, Croatia, and Portugal to Zagreb, to give the voice to them. So they will participate in this conference, and they will talk about the needs and what they think about the inclusion, diversity, and the other topics. Also, we developed some during the 3 years of the project, some activities when the strong student participation in different space was very strong. And also some exchange of experience with the students from other countries. So I will continue, be fast. During these last 3 years, we organized the comparative reports and the results from the research carried out in North Macedonia, Portugal, and Croatia clearly show that the quality participation of the students in school life requires an effort on the part of all interested parties. And also educators, they are involved during the project, have the power to create an encouraging environment that is conducive to student participation. However, such change must first be understood and then implemented. Also, we finished the comparative reports with the students' voice will always exist, but it is up to us, all of us, to decide if we are going to listen to it. Okay. So about the policy, we have some objectives from the policy topic. And they are ensuring that schools are environments where student participation is inevitable. Offering continuing professional development on the student participation through educators and school leaders too. Okay. Sensitive school staff to the purpose of the students' participation, helping students to develop some active citizenship skills too, and also to facilitate implementation of some actions at school level and also on community level. And also offer programs on citizenship and sustainable development to students. About the policy topic, we developed the roadmap documents. Here you can see the online meeting with the policy makers and also with the teachers that they participate in March of this year on the Policy Lab 2. So with the results of the discussion and the session that we organized during this Policy Lab 2, we wrote the roadmap documents. So next steps and conclusions. The policy makers and school leaders must be able to tailor strategies to their own context according to the needs and characteristics of the 21st century students. Also, we need to act holistically and ecologically with the school leaders and the policymakers playing a key role in initiative change, engaging themselves and the community and evaluating the process. So we have this conclusion on the roadmap. So also I want to say thank you and yes, I finished already.
Thank you very much, Rita, and all participants. Yes.
Okay, so because we are a little bit behind schedule, we are not going to have a debate now. So we are going to the break. Coffee break will be here, this door. They will be, they will be available if you want to ask them some questions also about the projects. Thank you so much for the young man, for the grow up and for the start to change, and of course, for BePart. They will be available. Also, we have on BePart Instagram account. Please follow us, okay? And I will share each one of your projects there, and also their contact if you want to know a little bit more about it, if you want to reach them, okay? So now, 15 minutes break, just to breathe a little bit. Thank you so much.
Não dá.
É você que faz.
Não está, obrigado. Obrigado, não. Não tiraste, já, o caminho está ali, não? Obrigado, José. Já tenho aqui a peça. Este ano.
Sim,
Mas eu vou estar a ver.
chegamos para aí, todos já são.
É o que eu estou a dizer, agora estamos para aí.
Quem sabe vai mais barulho.
Espera. Reunião da Porto, não sei.
Quando for embora, em vez de chamar Matilde,
Para aí, essa para aí. Não, vai ser metade da cadeira mesmo.
Por isso,
Sim, mas tem calma, tipo.
vai. Se alguém vir,
Espera o senhor daquele lado.
vai ser no geral, sim, vai entrar, você vai
aqui uma cadeira.
Você dá o litro de papel.
para alguma coisa particular que quisesse responder? Não, eu vou fazer uma pergunta para vocês tentarem falar de questão.
Olha, fica tu aí no meio que eu vou passar para aquele lado.
Eu consegui. Eu vou ver questão, papel, questão. Depois das cadeiras dela. Depois, a questão, me faz mas para mim, eles vão falar igualmente sobre o emprego. Depois, a quem quiser falar, vai se quiser já. Fica numa brincadeira de primeiro, se apresentarem.
Olha aí o papel.
Primeiro, para vocês se apresentarem. E edição é que participar. Nome, idade. Depois, vou fazer 3 perguntas, quem quiser responde. Eu até já vou escolher mais ou menos cada edição quem responde. No final, cada um vai voltar a falar e pergunta para vocês. Está bem? É da primeira plano de implementação, e aí depois mais vontade de falar sobre até que ponto os jovens conseguem mudar, trabalhar na mudança paradigma da escola. Quem é que pode responder? Olha, vocês trabalharem muito. Eu já estou cuidando. Essa questão do mesmo, mas outras têm não sei qual era a segunda. Quando fazer para mudar foi
Sempre acaba sempre nada.
Um segundo, alguém que esteja à vontade, era essa aqui, ok, isso, peraí, deixa eu ver, é isso aqui, olha, a pergunta é essa, quem é que pode responder? Pode ser, ok,
E depois
essa,
fala que era a pergunta.
a do final, cada um vai dizer o impacto que sentiu, então, uma apresentação, o meu jovem contribuir para a mudança, tá bem? São as que estão aqui. Não se preocupe, só que vocês escolhem quem vai responder, tá?
Faz a última pergunta.
Nem todos vão responder, é só
Primeiro ano, somos nós fizemos essa pergunta junto, nós todos.
Basta responder um dos dois, está bem?
Sempre no meu pessoal, isso foi grande.
Lá, look at that.
Gente, na última conversa eu falei sobre as linhas de desenvolver de responsabilidade e no caso do projeto, ajudamos também a podemos escolher não estou académica, mas já sei, o mais interessante é sentirmos que nós estamos muito inovados também e devemos fazer um debate então é um pouco
falar este. Claro, eu quero falar este, não é?
Não, mas foi o que nós temos projetos diferentes. Gente, na última pergunta, cada projeto vai dar a sua resposta. São muito grandes.
Sabe, não vai falar daí. Sim,
Eu não sei, eu
Thank you for reminding us. We're going to start now the round table, the most important round table of today. Finally, you listen to the young people's voice. We have here 7 young people from Castro Secondary School, but we have also other students represented by teachers. We will start with them with some questions. This roundtable will last something like 30 minutes. We're out of schedule, but sorry, it was not our fault. We're going to ask them questions, and then in the end, I will show some videos, and I will call Carlinda, who's here from Greece, and one representative of the Minister of Education after the young people talk. We'll call them in order to present the experience of our partners from Greece. Now, I'm going to present myself. Sorry. My name is Adelina Silva. I'm here from Both University. I'm a researcher, and I have the privilege to participate in these projects. It's very difficult to not to say to be part of BePart, but I will say that sometimes because of them. It's a privilege for me also to be here in the most important time of this presentation. We have some very important people here. The first question will be for all of them. You can talk about your own experience, don't worry about the process now. I just want each of you to present yourself and tell us when did you participate in BePart, the first edition or the second edition? And if you want to say something else about the participation, but must be so, you have to speak very quickly because I don't have enough time. My name is Isabel. I'm going to present you, or they will present themselves.
I'm Antonio Barbosa, and I participated in this project in the second year. I will now pass my colleague.
Hi, I'm Matteo. I work with Antonio in this project. We participated in the year 2022 to 2021 to 2022, and it was an amazing experience. But that's all I'm going to say for now.
Hi, my name is Rafael. I participated in the 2021 and 2022 project on 8th grade.
Don't worry, you use that microphone.
Hi, my name is José, and I participated in the first song. Hi, I'm Luísa. I participated in the first one.
Hi, my name is Cláudia, and I participated in the first year of the project.
Thank you for your presentation. Now I have a question. You can choose that's your developer say, not me. Don't worry. Fine. You can choose who wants to answer that. And we talked a lot about students and young people participation at school management, and we saw your teacher Adelina talk about different projects that you developed in your school. So, what I would like to know is, what do you think now is the student's role in the management of school? What's the student's role after participating in the projects? What do you think that students can do regarding the management projects of our schools in general, not only your school? Who can answer, please?
Right? Go for it. Go for it. Go. Otherwise, I can choose. No. Go. Come on.
I don't think we need to change the way we learn, but I think one way to would be to have more projects like this. That would be a different way to learn and an experience that would make us involve more in actively.
Thank you. Great. Anyone else wants to comment? No, thank you. The second question is, how can you students contribute to change in education regarding the youth participation? What can we do? We listen, thank you. We listened to Isabel in the beginning of this conference, and she said that we are in a school crisis, in a participation crisis, in a learning crisis. So I think now you can think about ways that students can contribute to change the situation. So I'm going to repeat, you can answer. Let's listen to another voice. What can you do to contribute to change the education related to young people participation in decisions.
Our role as students is to be willing and curious about the new things that surround us. For this, we need to keep an open mind to new projects which in the future will help us in many things. BePart, for example, has brought us many qualities. It helps us overcome insecurity, such as public speaking, and help us practice our English. As well as getting to know new culture and new people, interculturally, it's very important nowadays.
Great. Now I have another question for all of you, but you can, if you feel more comfortable, you can answer these questions in pairs, because both of you, two of you participate in the same project, if I'm not wrong. So you can choose to answer by yourself or choose to answer with your colleague. My question is, what do you think? You can answer that in your own experience and own opinion. Don't worry about the others' opinions. What do you think it was the impact of participating in the parts of the project BePart, the impact on the community, and also the impact on your own life? What do you think that really changed for your perspective about this issue?
So,
Deixem o micro.
Can you hear me? Yeah. So this project really helped us developing responsibility, leadership, and a lot more. And not just, our project was about the future me. We were ninth graders by the time when we were working in the project. And we had a big decision on hands, which was basically choosing our future. We were 15. Normally, 15, we are young people, right? We're 14, 15 by the time. And we had to choose our future at such a young age. And, normally we don't have a voice. But at the same time, we had to choose our future. Strange, right? But we don't have a voice. But when it comes to choosing our future, now suddenly it's a different story, right? Doesn't make sense. It doesn't make sense to me. So we felt a lot of pressure. Normal, right? So we tried to give all ninth graders as much information as we could. We visited some workplaces. We even organized some meetings with lawyers and a lot more. You want to add something?
Yeah.
Okay.
I hope our project can help someone else. Like in the next years, we keep doing what we did. And I hope that the other students still have the same energy as we did when we did this project. And I hope they aren't so afraid as we were when we did that. That's what I wanted to add.
So basically, what I was trying to say was this project gave us the confidence to show our voice, our opinions, and all of that, and also gave us a big responsibility because we were 14, 15 with a project like this on hands. Basically, by ourselves, we had our teacher for guidance, but we were by ourselves in this project. We had some difficulties like choosing the model. It was very confusing, and the lack of time. We had so little time for such a big problem and such a big project like this. And that's my answer, the confidence and everything.
Great, thank you.
Yeah.
The importance of this project to me is that it let me know that we, the students, also have a voice and that our ideas also count. Because when we started this project for the first time, when the teacher said I think we wanted to change in the project, we were just looking at it and saying, is this for real? Because we never had a voice to change the things in our schools. So it was a good thing for us because it let us, and we have reached an agreement fast, and it let us work as a team and everything.
Our personal development has improved along with this project. This project made us live new experience that we wouldn't have anywhere else. We improve our teamwork and leadership. We improve our communication skills and our English. And it also made us develop a higher degree of responsibility and maturity because we were participating in a big and very important project.
Well, you may think that this is a project that is something common, but it's not. For example, it will help us in the future when we need a job. If you say that you participated in a project with this dimension that puts us in the center of all decisions and gives importance to our ideas and opinions, it will certainly open new doors for new opportunities and will help you to be children with. It's hard to be called for this kind of projects, and it's even harder to participate in it. But after all, it's a lifetime experience, and I think that this isn't a waste of time. Not at all. It will help you in many ways. In this kind of project, you should always work together, take the most of the ideas that you all have and organize them all to accomplish the projects that in a way that you feel proud of. You also have to know how to listen and respect different opinions and ideas because it will always be a group, and this is fundamental for the final product. I would like to thank for this amazing opportunity to all the responsible because it, as I said, is a lifetime experience.
Thank you.
Teacher. So please, this can be your choice.
So, Carlinda Leite, for the people that are online, Carlinda Leite is someone that also needs more teachers, and he is asking you to follow this career, this wonderful career. We're all about that. That's true. Not everybody will be in the audience, but that's okay. No, it was wonderful to listen to you and your perspective. We're going to hear from Barcelona students and then from Latvian students that send us a video, and then after call Rita to come to the table. I'm not sure the Barcelona video out is not so good. Let's see if we can listen to that properly.
When we started the project, we got from MIT. We worked on the first year and we worked on the second year. So each year what we did is that we tried out the model, we applied to our student using a project so that we could see what the benefits and what the areas that we could work each model. And the second year, we did one called here. It is in different phases to achieve participation in the school. And we got a budget like in Europe, and then you can organize yourself so that it could be a student-led project as to do something in your school. And the final idea was to make a ping pong table, by ping pong table for the junior school, and that's what we're going to do. We just want to learn about the skills and teamwork, leadership, or interpersonal skills, and also learn to organize ourselves without having someone, something that we're and we've also learned other things from because we trust and It was very positive experience because we got to experience different cultures and learn about different countries. We also had a really great time when we got to go on a trip to Portugal and we got to do some touristy adventures, but also the culture, European culture. Also, we were lucky enough to have some Latin speakers come in our school, and we could share our culture with them and get to know them. And all in all, it was a really great experience. Now, the vision from last year.
We worked with the participation remarks. We found model interesting in knowing. We also got to me. These are pieces less improvement than we can find. We never even the doubt, merely from exactly what. Take it in the part project now.
We decided about participating now. We got ready to be involved here. People of all ages can play together. What we have gained is first, our experience of operating with state institutions when we have the budget. The second is a benefit of the society because the members of communities meet in the game, they have a reason to contact each other. We like the result of the project. Thanks.
Already, BePart budget to shape our future. You are done by the participation model. You accomplished a lot. We made emotions about everything we think about saving resources. We started directly without resources. Spread our ideas further. These are 10 templates. The country friendly research tools and cloud talking bags will be a tradition for more and more families. Working at BePart, we felt that we are part of society and that we are taken into account. Thanks to the project.
So we have to thank all the students, all the teachers, all the participants. Without you, the project wouldn't be possible. We are going to have a last huge applause for these people and all the ones that appeared in the video and participate too. And I'm going to call Carlinda to come to the table. Carlinda and the representative of the Minister of Education.
Would like to stand up, whatever you care. I'm going to take this out and I'm going to let out. Thank you. The young people are wonderful. They don't need words.
Okay.
My name is Adelina Silva. I'm the principal of secondary gymnasium of Menezes, Athens, Greece. And I'm very, very pleased to be here to participate in this conference and also to participate in this project that empowers young people and make their voice heard. So I'm trying to have another view of the implementation, the 2 years implementation with students in our school. They are Christy,
me and Georgia and Marina and our students. And the students chose to deal with AIR model of youth participation, which this model aims to introduce the dialectical method in school education as a key feature that promotes the active participation of students in a democratic society with the support of theater techniques. And the problem that the students decided to deal with was individual and social responsibility. Because there was lack of respect to the school environment and their peers. This is their thoughts about individual and social responsibility. We had meetings every week on Thursday, and we had also like a diary with the help of technology, the Jamboard. And I have to point out, as Adelina told you before, that we had to meet online because we were under the COVID-19 situation, and we had online meetings and lessons also. After the students studied 3 books for individual and social responsibility, they decided to perform the play based on the book The Story of Greta Thunberg. This is a video. I'm not going to play it because we don't have much time. So we will skip it, but I will tell you about it. I will tell you that the students performed this theatrical play, Forum Theater it is called, which means they had to improvise. They didn't learn their lines by heart, but they had to improvise. But they knew which student had the role of in favor of Greta or against Greta. But after the theatrical play took place, actually it happened in the schoolyard, they wrote about what they felt, their feelings about taking part in this theatrical play. And they were very, very influenced by it in order to raise their awareness of the environment and bullying. The students thought, after the theater forum, by adapting roles, they became more aware of the environment. They felt what school bullying is like. Their respect for the school environment and their classmates was strengthened. They felt more active in taking initiatives for a cleaner environment and a more inclusive school. They created a questionnaire, which was answered by the students of our school. Almost 80% of the students answered it online again. And the results of the questionnaire troubled them a lot. So they sought for solutions. They sought collaborations with the municipality of Ballini, Parents Association, Teacher Association, School Caretaker, and Students' Council. They brainstormed and they came up with many ideas about how to improve our school environment, how to increase respect for each other. And the tangible result of the implementation was the exterior painting of school. The classrooms were painted with colors that resemble nature: green for green valleys, blue for sea, yellow for orange, and for sun. Cleaning of toilets, curtains, historical maps on the walls of classrooms, school guidelines for measures for the pandemic, and also guidelines for dealing with bullying and cyberbullying. The intangible results of the implementation was, of course, they acquired presentation, organization, and communication skills. I have to point out that they organized the first online meeting with the partners. And also, they were very much involved in the project, exercising creative and critical thinking, coming up with new ideas that they were very eager to implement. This contributed to their becoming more responsible and creative students. And
citizens. These are some photos from our school and what happened after this implementation of BePart and the change of our school environment. Of course, during the implementation from the first year, we have also a collaboration, and the Ministry of Education and Religious Affairs is our associated partner. Mrs. Tanya Papadriadapilou will talk about it later on after my presentation, and the involvement in the dissemination part. Small events to local schools community. We held large events to wider community with schools of the municipality of Pallini, schools of Athens and other parts of Greece, with participation of the Deputy Minister of Education, the Director of the Directorate of Secondary Education of East Attica, and the Mayor of Pallini. Of course, we had these events in the local press, and also we entered a competition, and we had a competition that is held in Greece, which is called Bravo Schools, and we had a distinction for this. Here you can see this event, the first year of implementation with schools. These events were also held online, and there are some screenshots of this. You can see here, down here, here the mayor, and also the director of the Directorate of Secondary Education of East Attica, and there the Deputy Minister of Education. The mayor, Deputy Minister of Education, also we have this week, we participated in a large event. Coordinator of this was Mrs. Tonia Papadriadapilou, the week of sorry? Active citizens. Active citizens. And this is also an event held with parents and how they feel about the project. Constraints, the major constraint during the implementation was the pandemic. We managed to overcome the problem with regular online meetings, with creating vibrant team and jump board for recording actions and thoughts. But the pandemic, I think, that turned out to be a great opportunity for the remaking of our school. Third year, which was the second year of implementation with our students, again, we meet every Thursday, but now we meet face-to-face, fortunately. We are the teachers, the same teachers as the last year, but also Mrs. Dimitra Zerkou added in the list. We had students from last year, but new students added. And we chose to use the Y-Mind model of youth participation because the students pointed out that we have some problems with our Roma students and some problems with bullying and discriminations and etc. So this model was ideal for what we have to solve. Because it is based on a participatory, innovative project that promotes better social inclusion of newly arrived migrant and Roma children and youth through comprehensive diversity education in school and community-based settings. Understanding diversity, respecting differences, including those related to multi-ethnicity, promoted gender equality and prevention of gender-based violence and bullying and discrimination. Also, it has this model of polls. What is poll? Poll means stands out for public opinion leader. So we chose our polls, which were Elena Gondaki, representative of Students' Council. You met Elena when she came in the school, Pasos de Pereira, and also when we were hosts, and Michaela Theatipis and Christos Konstantinou from our students. We had 17 experiential workshops of Why Mind with the students of our project. Some are photos of this. And then, this is Elena Golnidaki, the poll I talked about, who is informing the Students' Council of Why Mind. And we thought that the students thought that it's a very, very good idea to involve all the students, and we held workshops in every class, workshops of Why Mind in every class, and also competition. So they chose from these 17 experiential workshops of Why Mind to perform 2 of them, 4 corners of violence and stop. And the students held the role of a facilitator. Here are some photos of the workshops. So I'd like now to play this video. It is the impact of Why Mind on our students. And this is how you can meet our students. No, this is only possibility.
Both the interactive workshops we did with
Rita, Pedro is here, so he can.
No.
No.
Do you have the video?
Yes, that is on my computer now. So I have another video. Okay, we will skip it, and I have another video. Okay. So we have this painting and poetry competition. The students of the project formed the organizing committee and the jury committee. They were responsible for disseminating the event to the school community. Also, last year, we implemented another model of youth participation, which is called 5 Stages Model of Online Participation, Gilly Salmon. So in that frame, the students created the Instagram account platform, and they uploaded the BePart promotional video, creation of poster of the painting and poetry competition. They uploaded the poster on Instagram account and also photos of the workshops of Why Mind. Also, they created videos and uploaded them on the school's YouTube channel. They created a poster of a painting and poetry competition and posters for raising awareness of diversity, bullying, and gender equality. So far, our online community counts 83 followers. Here is a screenshot of our Instagram account. And the posters, yes. The posters are collaborations again with Municipality of Pallini, Parents Association, Teachers Association, and Students' Council. We held also some small-scale event of the Town Hall of Pallini, large-scale event on our final presentation of the project to students, teachers, and parents, and also we participated in a large-scale event by the network CIMAE, by the Directorate of Secondary Education of East Attica and the Directorate of Second Region of Attica. Here are some photos of our small and large-scale events. We had also focus group students, which they say that they were very motivated to express their feelings and their attitudes towards the topics of diversity, bullying, and gender equality without being criticized. And they were encouraged to interact with each other through the workshops. Some students' opinion changed radically. Processes took place after the workshops, like interaction and listening to the opinion of others. And they mentioned that bullying stopped in his classroom. Student mentioned that bullying stopped in his classroom after workshops. We had also focus group with teachers. The general satisfaction was very good, but we demanded more time for all the workshops. And we had also mobilities here in Portugal and in Athens. Some photos of it.
You were there. We saw you.
And we had also posters when we had the mobility with the Portuguese team. We created posters for gender equality, bullying, etc. And let's say a video. Hopefully, it will work. No.
Like, to make help?
No, I need to open it in viewing mode. This video is shooted during the mobility in Athens, and there is the Portuguese team and also the Greek. Oh, no. No, it was the other video.
You have to play again. But I have this prepared on the YouTube link. I can show that. And then if you can. Yes, you don't have to one video.
Okay.
And actually.
I don't know what happens.
I have it here.
Days with all of the kids before all of the students from our school, so we could discuss all of these problems of modern society, and maybe we could minimize the percent of the incidents of many of these problems and our society. And I think this would be a really nice and effective way to do something like that. That is good for ourselves and for other people from our environment, and that way we can help each other out.
So this is a BePart. We have done a lot of things. We have done about gender equality. We have done a lot of workshops, which didn't allow me to voice my opinion, but also to raise my awareness of many issues that I have. Except for that, the best part for BePart, I think, is the communication between the people inside of it, but also how you can voice your opinion without being afraid. Now, we have we that we do where they witness or the problem with the violence and the weakness of people, and of course, the problems.
What kind of result you want to BePart is the service da prima idea studiare
Hi, my name is Fan. So far, the program done many activities understands for set other students' opinions and points of view and apply them to our decisions, even if we are facing different goals. Like one of our programs is the share with the way we where I express my hopes. The I hope that we do in the program is good. One of the activities and we will follow our
diversity, violence, and gender equality because it's like play. While at the same time,
Okay, some problems with the video, but we got the general idea. I would like to thank our partners, our coordinator, and our partners from Spain, Latvia, and Greece Action Synergy. And hopefully we will meet again in another project. Thank you very much. I'll give the floor to our associated partner, Mrs. Triadafeliou, as a representative of the Greek Ministry of Education.
Thank you, Corina. Dear partners for Portugal, Latvia, Spain, and Greece, it is a great honor and pleasure to attend the BePart final conference on the aim of promoting active citizenship. Thank you for the invitation and the warm hospitality, and allow me to warmly congratulate the organizers of the two-day event. I am also very pleased to welcome the representatives of the schools, Escola Secundaria de Passos de Ferreira, Escola Virolai, Valmier Primary School of Latvia, as well as the second gymnasio of Hierakas, which is the only Greek school that participates as a partner in Erasmus Plus KA3, a European program that supports policy reform issues. I congratulate you from the bottom of my heart for all the previous months of actions, but also for the fact that you promote the good practices of Erasmus Plus KA3 with the title BePart, Youth-Led Development for Schools Participatory Management, a project that expresses the latest pedagogical approaches for the contribution of education to the creation of active citizens. The General Directorate for International European Affairs, Education for Hellenic Diaspora, and Intercultural Education of the Hellenic Ministry of Education and Religious Affairs, which participates in this European partnership as an associated partner, enthusiastically supports and strengthens the innovative program BePart because it promotes integration in education, participatory education, strengthening the competencies of the democratic citizen, and promoting common values. As project manager and national coordinator of Greece for the Erasmus Plus active citizenship projects and Teachers for Europe projects, I would like to mention that the project BePart is considered to be an evolution of the European program Erasmus Plus KA3 active citizenship projects to enhance pupils' social and civic competencies, and specifically of the second thematic axis entitled social inclusion. The ACT project is implemented by our ministry in collaboration with the Ministries of Education and the educational institutions of France, the United Kingdom and Spain, with the aim of promoting social inclusion through respect for rights, encourages diversity, enhancing opportunities, and creating relationships of acceptance by all, elements that strengthen the social role of the school and empower students to better learning outcomes. It is an undeniable fact that the formation of active citizenship can be realized within the school with the support and strengthening of each state. The Greek Ministry of Education encourages and rewards in every way the participation of students in educational programs related to the social skills of the active citizen, such as empathy and solidarity, the strengthening of respect for human rights, the building of positive and healthy interpersonal relationships at local, national, and European level. Let us not forget that during the recent years, the term civil society seems to have appeared more and more frequently an open free society, which promotes the spirit of democracy. In this formation of society, the role of the school seems determining and crucial. The ministries of education of the countries must strengthen it, and for our part, we do this continuously with a sense of responsibility. Besides, the modern school aims to transform today's student into tomorrow's active democratic citizen who respects the nature and the human being, fights the human rights, and actively participates in social process. Since the previous school year, the Hellenic Ministry of Education has been promoting activities that enhance the modern pedagogical methodology for the cultivation of student skills within the skills labs, school subject, and also promotes the School Week of Active Citizens, active citizenship, in the framework of which events were held with the participation of the 110 gymnasiums of the Regional Directorate of Primary and Secondary Education of Attica, in synergies with the school units of all grades of Greece, with the thematic axis of active citizenship. The second Gymnasium of Hierakas participated by presenting the good practices highlighted by the BePart program and made a great impression on the school, local and regional community. In addition, the dissemination of the best practices of BePart took place at the two-day events of the network of school units of the directorates of secondary education of Second Athens and Eastern Attica, entitled Today's Student, Tomorrow's Active Citizen of the World, as well as on the closing event of the European program Erasmus+, entitled Teachers for Europe, Setting an Agora for Democratic Culture. Finally, I would like to refer to a part of the comments of Mrs. Zeta Macri, the Deputy Minister of Education and Religious Affairs, responsible for primary, secondary, and special education, who has actively participated in various events of the Second Gymnasium of Hierarchus, such as the educational workshop on individual and collective responsibility, which took place on the 22nd of April 2021. The World Earth Day. I got her words in the context of the decisive role played by the modern school in shaping the children's personality. You, the students of BePart, raise awareness of your political capacity, mobilize, participate individually or collectively in actions and events, taking initiatives, expresses, and exchange views, become volunteers, and prepare for your future contribution to society as responsible, active, and democratic citizens. I would like to sincerely congratulate you on this action for your school, and I express the full support of the political leadership of the Ministry of Education in every initiative that promotes democratic education and social welfare. We will be your constant helpers and supporters in your remarkable effort. Actually, the BePart program is an innovative program that concerns students aged 13 to 15 from vulnerable social groups who participated in the decision-making process of their schools in inclusion strategies, and in this way acquired and developed their individual abilities and contributed to the social inclusion of students who were marginalized. The proposal of the Greek Ministry of Education is this project to be continued, because in parallel with their personal development, by applying the BePart methodology, students also act as agents of innovative and positive change in the management process of their schools, implementing a set of initiatives based on student participation models. In these models, students and teachers work together to co-create strategies and initiatives, as well as to jointly monitor and evaluate school action plans, which they develop towards inclusion. And I believe that we need a systematic approach in the real life of schools. Thank you very much.
I would like to thank, I forgot to thank the organizing and scientific committee of this conference, Mrs. Carlinda, Angelica, and of course, Rita and Cláudia. Thank you very much.
Sousa is going to end this part. We still have one presentation to end all of the you received handbook, a Portuguese handbook of participation models. It was the first year by the coordination of CBN, Porto University. The departments will have tomorrow the English version of the manual too. Thank you, Rita.
Okay, so. Can you hear me? I don't know if this is working or not. No, but I don't know how it works. Doesn't work. Okay. No, it's working now. It's just arrived, and it started. It started. So I'm not going to present the results, okay? So don't worry. I have a surprise for you. Just to say the main results of our project, they are available on our website. They will be available on our Instagram. Please follow us because the project is ending, but not the Instagram account. So please continue following us. These are our results. They are all available in all languages, okay? So in the national languages of the project and also in English. Not the last two, they will only be available on national languages in December, okay? But the rest of it, it's available on our website, so please follow us. And now I have a surprise for you that any of the partners didn't see it, only us from MentorTech. So to finish our final conference, this is BePart in a glance, okay? Hope you enjoy it.
Welcome to BePart's final conference. Youth participation counts. Which way? BePart is a project that started at the end of 2019 and is finishing now in 2022. It was implemented in 4 schools. For June.
Sorry, this deserves this. Sorry.
Welcome to BePart's final conference. Youth participation counts. Which way? BePart is a project that started at the end of 2019 and is finishing now in 2022. It was implemented in 4 schools: Portugal, Spain, Greece, and Latvia, with the support of organization experts in youth education and training. The project engaged 20 teachers and 169 students during the 2 years of implementation, and with the support of the final product, here's a glance of the participation of young people using the BePart models of youth participation. If you want to know more, please check our website.
Yes, I will share. This was a surprise for you. I will share this with all of you, of course. I will also share it on Instagram. Thank you for our partnership. Thank you very much for everything that we have accomplished in the last 3 years. It was, I really know what I asked to the schools. I really know what I asked to technical partners in times and with strict deadlines. And I know that my emails sometimes are not the best, but we accomplished amazing things. And no. We accomplished amazing things, and I know that this was impossible to do it without you. So thank you so much. The proof is today, this afternoon. So thank you. Okay. Thank you so much.
As we said, we have just one last presentation to finish. I think you're listening now. We have a last presentation to finish our journey, our day. It's going to be José Carlos Bronze. He is the coordinator of the UP2B projects that is also entering today with the multiplier events, and also the teacher, Ana Paula Ribeiro, that is going to show some good practices. Meanwhile, I ask for the BePart partners to wait a little bit because I have to give you our manual. So I will give you the manual. Thank you. Thank you, Rita. Now, José Carlos Bronze, you have the floor. Sorry, the partners after this, the last part will be in Portuguese. So you can stay if you wish, but you also can go because the last part is the presentation of the UP2B product will be in Portuguese. Okay, thank you for being here.
Muito obrigado, então, por ainda estarem aqui presentes. A tarde já vai longa, vamos tentar ser rápidos. Não houve? Assim houve. Vamos tentar ser rápidos. Eu vou só apresentar muito rapidamente aquilo que foi o projeto UP2B, que é um projeto de Erasmus+ de educação escolar. Portanto, foi promovido nos últimos 2 anos, 2 anos e meio, com a história da pandemia. Também houve colocação de prazo. Vou apresentar o projeto e depois vamos apresentar aqui a professora Ana Paula Ribeiro, que é professora de matemática no agrupamento de escolas Vila Nova de Famalicão. Vai apresentar-vos uma boa prática que implementou nas escolas, juntamente com colegas, com outras colegas professoras, e que numa conversa a propósito do projeto UP2B percebemos que esta prática que este grupo de professoras implementou na escola estava absolutamente alinhada com aquilo que é o projeto UP2B. Ou seja, esta prática não fazia parte inicialmente não fazia parte do projeto, mas decidimos que integraria o projeto porque de facto está alinhada com ele e, portanto, é uma das atividades que veio a integrar o projeto e assim vai ser determinada também em vários países da Europa, como verão. Eu vou já apresentar os países e os parceiros. Vou tentar ser rápido, passar aqui alguns slides à frente. Ok. Carlinda, não sei. Sim, exatamente. É mais importante.
O meu também é rápido, por isso.
Ok. Então, este projeto, aquilo que eu vos vou apresentar. Eu vos vou apresentar o contexto e a problemática do projeto, o desenho do projeto, os produtos e resultados, a visão da parceria e as perspectivas de futuro. Relativamente ao contexto, houve um diagnóstico de necessidades que foi feito com base em projetos anteriores de educação escolar, comuns aos parceiros deste projeto, em projetos anteriores também no âmbito da juventude, em que se percebeu que de facto havia aqui algumas necessidades que podiam ser colmatadas ou de forma mitigadas com um projeto Erasmus+ de educação escolar. Baseámos também muito em estudos e relatórios nacionais, europeus e internacionais, como a Estratégia Europa 2020, nomeadamente a componente de educação e formação 2020, o estudo Health Behavior in School Age Children, portanto, com os dados de 2018, a época, o projeto foi desenhado em 2019, perdão, ele inicia em 2020. A primeira reunião do projeto foi em fevereiro de 2020, portanto, ele foi imediatamente impactado pela pandemia a partir de março, com o primeiro lockdown. Falta uma palavra em português. Confinamento, obrigado. E a Estratégia Nacional de Educação para a Cidadania do ano letivo de 2017-2018. A abordagem que temos é esta, contrariamente à linha da teoria do capital humano, a educação deve ser um fim em si mesmo, um direito humano, indo além das lógicas do mercado, por força de constrangimentos diferentes da globalização e de uma orientação para a competição, a equidade na educação tende a focar-se em questões da igual oportunidade económica, e não é isto apenas que se pretende, mas também alargar visões mais amplas, capazes de endereçar múltiplas origens de discriminação. Por via da equidade, da solidariedade e da justiça social, a educação deve ser capaz de suplantar imperativos de responsabilização individual, de suplantar esses imperativos de competição e imperativos de desempenho e eficácia, suplantá-los para outras dimensões, porque estes são, nomeadamente, causadores de tarefa emocional, de motivação e de abandono escolar. Portanto, esta é a ideia que o projeto abraça. Ele inspirou-se muito nesta whole school approach, a abordagem integrada da escola, que é uma visão que diz que as escolas não podem trabalhar de forma eficaz sozinhas, precisam de passar de ações isoladas e de curta duração para um envolvimento holístico e sistémico. E é bem verdade que nós vimos isto em algumas escolas, mas também vimos o contrário em tantas outras, e portanto esta abordagem holística felizmente também já acontece em muitas escolas e faz parte do cotidiano da escola, mas é esta abordagem que o projeto pretendeu trabalhar. Em termos de problemas em foco, sobretudo a desmotivação na escola, quer de alunos e alunas, quer de professores e todas, o abandono escolar precoce também, necessidade de melhor articulação entre a escola e o mercado de trabalho, rápido desenvolvimento tecnológico que coloca novos desafios a professores e alunos, necessidade de apoio às professoras e aos professores com novas ferramentas pedagógicas e uma melhor preparação para a vida fora da escola, depois da escola. O objetivo é aumentar a atratividade da escola, facilitar a relação, mas também a transição entre a escola, o ensino superior e o mercado de trabalho, aumentar o sentido de cidadania de estudante através da informação sobre o mundo das profissões e sobre o que vasto leque de possibilidades. Portanto, aqui uma dimensão também ligada às questões de cidadania, não necessariamente aquela que se sente em primeira linha, talvez. Aumentar o sentido da cidadania europeia e os seus valores fundamentais de tolerância, igualdade e equidade, nomeadamente nas questões de género, minorias e direitos humanos, em linha com tudo que fomos vendo ao longo desta tarde, nos vários projetos que foram apresentados, este traço muito comum, felizmente. Os grupos-alvo, estudantes, professores, educadores, tutores, outros agentes de educação e formação, a comunidade escolar, como todos se quisermos. Os parceiros, a PRO, que é a entidade coordenadora aqui no norte de Portugal, aqui a faculdade como entidade parceira, no sul do Alentejo, uma ONG, que é a Régimento, uma ONG de desenvolvimento de atividade também, promotora de educação e formação, uma associação empresarial de investigação, Centro Tecnológico de Móvel e da Madeira da região de Múrcia, que está responsável pela avaliação do projeto, uma ONG da Bulgária, a Universidade de Doutora na Turquia, o Governo Regional de Doutora na Turquia, responsável pela Direção Regional de Educação e, portanto, capaz de chegar a um número muito alargado de escolas naquela região, uma ONG na Dinamarca e, finalmente, claro, aquilo que estava aqui a faltar, uma escola. Esta abordagem integrada de escola não pode excluir, como é óbvio, a escola. Portanto, temos uma escola, mas a ideia é que isto possa alargar-se a muito mais escola. A metodologia solidária, cada parceiro lidera um pacote de trabalhos e os restantes participam ativamente. Os pacotes de trabalho dedicados também à gestão de projeto, monitorização, avaliação, disseminação e visibilidade, envolvimento de stakeholders, incorporação de parceiros de sustentabilidade e domínios horizontais, aqui os domínios da inclusão, da sustentabilidade ambiental, dos direitos humanos, enfim, vários domínios. 4 produtos expandidos, procuramos criar, e 7 eventos multiplicadores, um deles aqui outro, um outro no Alentejo, tanto em Portugal, e depois um em cada um dos restantes países. Os produtos, temos uma comunidade de práticas e repositório ativo de ferramentas, que é uma plataforma online. Eu não vou apresentá-los em detalhe, depois podem, com o link do projeto, chegar a estes produtos até o fim do ano. Nós vamos ter tudo, o projeto termina em dezembro, portanto, até o fim do ano vamos ter os produtos todos nos vários idiomas disponíveis no website. Eu pedi-vos que de facto recolhessem ou tomassem nota dos links que estão aqui na apresentação, vou chamar-vos a atenção para isso. Um manual de possíveis correspondências entre a escola e a profissão, entre as matérias escolares e uma profissão determinada, atividades de escola, cidadania e profissão e atividades, atividades com caráter digital, escola, cidadania e profissão. Aqui vou passar este slide para a frente, ele detalha um pouco mais aquilo que são cada um destes produtos tangíveis. Temos aqui o link para, mas ele está no website do projeto também, o link para a plataforma, convido já todos os professores e professoras a registrar-se e utilizar a plataforma. A ideia é simplesmente fazer um registro, colocar os vossos materiais, utilizar os materiais que são colocados pelos vossos pares, poderem interagir num fórum também online com os pares. O Manual de Correspondência Escola e Profissão, abrangendo diversas disciplinas escolares, foi feito com a colaboração de 3 turmas do 7º ano do Grupamento de Escolas de Ariães de Felgueiras, através do professor Rui Dário Santos, professor de Artes Visuais, que promoveu em conjunto com os seus alunos este projeto, e eles participaram com ilustrações que vieram também incorporar aqui o layout e o design do manual. Depois, o tal compêndio de atividades, temos atividades e atividades pedagógicas com caráter lúdico, desenhadas para a implementação em sala de aula. São então os produtos 3 e 4 deste projeto. Os resultados preparamos com o maior número possível de escolas e a utilização dos produtos, uma experimentação dos produtos em sala de aula, com os professores e professoras que entendam, maior motivação em sala de aula e aulas mais atrativas, participação responsável da gente não escolar na vida da escola, maior conscientização sobre os cursos profissionais de ensino, o projeto centra-se muito nas questões das profissões, melhores formações relativas a cursos de ensino superior e a procura de emprego, maior conscientização sobre direitos e deveres, equidade e inclusão. As visões da parceria e perspectivas de futuro. Chamamos os parceiros a pronunciarem sobre aquilo que esperam que o projeto possa trazer no futuro, e estamos aqui uma imagem que é comum a muitos de nós, e alguns se calhar já nem tanto, que os nossos elementos mais jovens, mas muitos de nós associam esta imagem à escola, e aquilo que os nossos professores, nossos professores e parceiros do projeto entenderam como o que se segue no projeto será uma disseminação junto ao maior número possível de escolas e de professores e professoras, uma renovação do projeto com uma maior participação de escolas com parceiros formais. E eu estou a ver que este slide configurou, portanto não está nos termos em que estava feito, nomeadamente nas fontes, mas enfim, a informação está lá. Diversificação de países e de entidades na parceria, a renovação e a criação dos domínios temáticos a abraçar e a idealização de novos tipos de atividades de participação, inclusão e motivação de alunos e alunas e professores e professoras. E, assim, muito rapidamente, o mais rapidamente que eu consigo, o projeto está apresentado. Grandes problemas, a pandemia, sem dúvida, pedir aos professores e à escola que utilizem mais uma ferramenta, mais uma plataforma online, foi complicado numa altura em que a pandemia estava aí, eles eram obrigados a fazê-lo sem este projeto, e portanto tudo isto foi complicado, mas podemos satisfeito com o resultado final. E os links relevantes serão então o website do projeto, que está aqui, podem notar e aceder. Temos um grupo de Facebook, um endereço mais complicado, mas que ficarem a pedir Erasmus+, que é o grupo do Facebook, e a avaliação desta questão e acesso ao certificado de participação, a qual eu desde logo peço que possam fazer. Quem quiser pode ir para o certificado de participação sem responder ao questionário, também pode fazer, basta que nos envie esse pedido que nós enviaremos o certificado de participação. Para nós é mais fácil ter a avaliação e enviar a quem responder à avaliação do certificado, temos logo os dados do e-mail, tanto short o URL como pode ter barra ou menos, ou querer ter X maiúsculo, agradecidos se puderem, por favor, fazer. Então, isto aqui algumas referências bibliográficas que utilizamos nesta apresentação, e muito obrigado pela vossa atenção.
Eu penso que sim, Então, muito boa tarde. Eu sou a Ana Paula, como disse o José Carlos, disse que vinha do agrupamento de Vila Nova de Famalicão, da Camilo Castelo Branco. Sou professora de matemática Agradeço desde já o convite. Venho apresentar aqui, diga. Vou ser muito rápida, uma apresentação muito rápida. Em que consiste a minha apresentação? Como vocês podem ver no page paper.
Posso do online.
Pois é verdade, tem razão. Diz respeito a um paper digital, ou seja, em que é que consiste? O primeiro passo que nós fizemos foi com uma turma de 7º ano, em que juntamente com 2 colegas, uma de inglês e a outra de fisicoquímica, num tema da disciplina de cidadania, que é o desenvolvimento sustentável, realizámos um paper digital. Em primeiro lugar, fizemos o modelo da sala de aula invertida, que já tem tido muitas pessoas, não é? Já ouviram falar, ou seja, os alunos tinham que colher a informação necessária, não é? De acordo com o tema, criavam as perguntas e as respostas, depois enviávamos, e nós íamos dando também o feedback no decorrer das aulas, dessa primeira parte, antes da realização do paper, íamos dando o nosso feedback e depois compilámos tudo o que eles enviaram-nos, não é? Pela aplicação, pelo Teams, que nós é a nossa plataforma que usamos na escola, é o Teams, enviaram e nós, o que é que nós fizemos? Compilámos a informação toda e decidimos fazer um paper digital. Em que é que consiste? Ora, estes são os objetivos, mas eu os objetivos não os vou ler, porque vou falando no decorrer da atividade. Claro que a primeira parte desenvolveu neles a autonomia, o espírito crítico, o trabalho de grupo, porque foi feito em equipa, esta atividade. Nesta primeira parte foi utilizada uma aplicação, que é o Genial, em que vocês podem ver o mapa da escola, e nesse mapa o que é que nós fizemos? Colocamos, como vocês podem ver ali as imagens, são os postos de paragem onde os alunos tinham que ir, e o que é que iam fazer de seguida? Já vamos ver. Tem 5 postos de paragem. Se eu clicar aqui, vamos ter a tal aplicação onde foi criado o mapa. O mapa foi-nos cedido pela escola. Nós depois é que criámos colocámos os desenhos, não é? Os postos onde eles tinham que parar para, já vamos ver para fazer o quê? Está lento, se calhar não abre, pronto. É só para vos dizer que a aplicação foi genial e se não conseguimos abrir, não problema, a internet está ali. Estou a ver que sim. Se calhar passamos, não? Sim. Vamos passando, se não te importarem, estou a ver que isto está difícil.
É aqui, não é?
É este, é. Pronto. Vocês podem ver, não é? Isto não dá, aqui por acaso era o ponto de chegada deles, no final eles percorriam, tinham que parar naqueles postos de paragem e a parte final é o sábado, onde todos tinham se juntar lá. Então o que é que nós colocamos? Como vocês podem ver, em cada posto de paragem criámos um QR Code, certo? Ou seja, o que é que acontecia? Os miúdos eram grupos de 4, um ia com o telemóvel com a aplicação do Genial e com o mapa aberto para saber onde é que tinham que parar, quais eram os postos de paragem, enquanto que um ou dois dos outros fazia a leitura do QR Code. E esse QR Code tinha ligação, não sei se vou conseguir, com um quiz na aplicação Quiz, que já conhecem, não é? Lá está aqui um dos postos de paragem, está aqui o quiz que foi feito, não é? Com 4 perguntas, em que eles, de escolha múltipla, em que eles tinham que responder, e o que é que nós tentámos fazer? De acordo com o tema, colocámos uma relacionada com a matemática, que era a interpretação gráfica, outra com a fisicoquímica e outra em inglês, não é? Conseguimos fazer isso dentro do tema do desenvolvimento sustentável. Como vocês podem ver, cada um dos QR Codes tinha então um quiz em que eles tinham que responder, não é? Depois, não os vou abrir todos, até o tempo já está mais limitado e também não há necessidade disso, porque, como vocês podem ver, estes são os quizzes que foram criados em todos os postos de paragem, cada um deles, não é? Tinha um, não é? E eles tinham que fazer o respectivo leitura e responder a esse quiz, certo? Tínhamos 5. No final, o que é que aconteceu? Depois de responderem vem a classificação, que é uma coisa boa, porque vocês, quando nós fazemos um paper digital, quando nós fazemos, utilizar estas aplicações, que são ferramentas digitais que nos ajudam em muita coisa, e que é muito mais eficiente para os miúdos, porque eles adoraram
esta forma de realizar o PDP, porque nunca tinham feito um PDP desta forma, com os telemóveis, com as aplicações, os resultados saem logo, aquilo foi fantástico para eles, estavam todos entusiasmados e nós também, porque não foi agradável fazer esta, foi diferente, não é? Do que aquele PDP, que eles costumam responder em formato de papel, não é o tradicional. O que é que acontece? Como vocês podem ver, os resultados, a média geral dos quizzes que foram realizados foram muito bons, não é? Se eu abrir aqui, não é? Temos aqui só para ver, não é? Oh, não dá.
Não dá.
Agora não dá. Paciência, mas deixa eu ver só. Outra vez, deixa eu tentar outra.
Não é porque está a pedir uma conta. A seção não tem conta.
Pronto, mas isto é só para dizer o quê? Se eu abrisse, tinha o nome de 4 alunos, um de cada equipa, não é? Com a pontuação e depois dá a média, como vocês podem ver, a média de cada um dos quizzes realizados em cada posto de paragem. Resumindo e concluindo, o que é que eu posso dizer com esta atividade? Diversificarmos as nossas metodologias, não é? Porque agora com estas ferramentas digitais todas que existem, não é? Com várias aplicações que foram usadas, aqui usámos o Teams, usámos o Quizzes, usámos também a Genial, usámos bastante ferramentas digitais, eles também pesquisaram na internet sobre o tema, diversificámos as nossas estratégias e temos aqui umas fotos tiradas da atividade, como podemos ver, eles estavam todos entusiasmados, todos a realizar, a responder ao quiz em grupo, não é? Ali a fazer a leitura do QR Code, e foi uma atividade bastante interessante para todos, tanto para os alunos como para nós, porque realmente verificou-se um maior empenho e uma maior entusiasmo por parte deles. Pronto, a minha atividade resume-se. Não sei se tem algo mais para pensar. Obrigada.
Obrigado. Só deixar aqui uma nota, depois vou dizer à professora Isabel Menezes que teria gostado de ver que uma professora de matemática traz a política para a escola e traz a cidadania e o desenvolvimento sustentável e tudo isso. Portanto,
bem, agora sim. Boa noite, muito obrigada pela presença e até a próxima. Good night, thank you, see you tomorrow.
Obrigado, tranquilo.
Eu queria tirar a manhã, já tirei, já foram embora os conceitos.
Então, vai no teu telemóvel e tu dias trabalhos. Pronto,
Bem, quem vem amanhã? Deixa eu ver que é como assim, não vai na dia, vai na escola, não estou percebendo.
Olha, sobraram estes três daquele projeto da INOVA mais.
Está ali na carta.